Hello world, Clinton coming at you live here to talk about Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan podcast last night. So I stayed up, I watched this thing live. It was utterly ridiculous, but I've been so hyped up about long form interviews lately, talking about how great it is that people are talking for hours and hours and hours. Talked to Harold Channer about that. And yeah, this is why. Listening to Elon Musk talk for 2.5 hours was some of the most riveting and terrifying and illuminating. Okay, first of all, this guy thinks about AI a lot, and his version of AI is kind of a lot about how I have been thinking about computers a lot in the past few years. And okay, just look at this.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This seems
Nobody
like a scene
listened.
in a movie
Nobody
where
listened.
the robots are going to fucking take over and you're freaking me out. Nobody listened.
Nobody listened.
No.
What the whole interview was like that. And then at the end, he smokes a blunt, and that's what's on all the headlines today. It was like, oh my god, here's a picture of Elon Musk one. Right? But it's like, okay, that's actually like the least interesting part of the entire thing. See, the way Elon Musk is talking about AI is a lot like the same way I've been thinking about humans in relation to their computer, insofar as when you understand a computer and you control it, it's yours, and you're manipulating it. It's an extension of you, right? But computers are extremely complex, so for the past year I've kind of been trying to illuminate precisely the history of their evolution as part of our electronic environment, so as to delineate what's human and what's agency and what we can do as human beings, and what machines can do for us versus surrendering autonomy or control to the mechanical and the electronic environment itself. If you don't understand what the computer's doing, it's artificial intelligence. The way they're talking about it in the podcast, it's like Elon says there's going to be so much intelligence in the world in computers, which is going to dwarf what the intelligence which is inside people. So he's talking about neurally patching people directly into computers and creating augmented superhumans with super fast thinking plugged directly into the internet as a way to keep symbiosis with the machines so that they don't run away from us. Interesting, because we've already been doing that for like a long time now. You know, we are mechanical brides insofar as they say, like Elon says in the podcast, that we're all cyborgs with our smartphone and whatnot. And really it comes down to whether they're driving you or you're controlling it, which is a matter of how much your perception of the machine is one where you have agency and control over it versus where you just walk around and do whatever it suggests because, you know, that's easiest, and you just do what the app says and it works, and hey, this is how we do things now, right? Surrendering the autonomy of humans to just how the technology works at the time, right? This is an education issue, a broad public education issue. So yeah, it was really interesting to hear all of his thoughts on this stuff, and just, you know, to get a feel for how he thinks and feels, and to watch him talk about this stuff was, you can really kind of see the pressure he's under, and the depth to which he worries about this stuff hyper rationally, and he was kind of scared to go into sensory deprivation and whatnot, right? Like, I can't turn my mind off because then I'll see the abyss kind of stuff. Like, well, yeah, we're all looking at the same thing here, right? I've been reading a lot about post-humanism, which is a ridiculous field to read about. It all builds up on the work of well, a whole bunch of critical theorists, and the long and short of it is just people freaking out about where their mind and how their senses interface with the world around them. And it's like, okay, if you want to understand what's human, then you have to learn to differentiate and look at the environment for what it is, which means studying how the world actually works and is made up. McLuhan would say, don't look at the content, but look at the medium itself. Now, computers are a very difficult medium to understand, which is why it's easy to think of them as being intelligent, but really what's intelligent about them is everything that we put into them, what's programmed by some other human, right? Some human puts their idea of a process or an algorithm, they write it in a code, and they put it in the computer, and then the computer is now an extension of them doing that thing over and over again, right? Understanding the code means understanding the computer, right? And you don't actually have to understand it. You have to have faith that someone else out there does understand it, and they got your back, and when there's a problem, they raise a bug fix. Like this, there is a whole world of computers and computer literate people out there doing this every day, and no one thinks of cybersecurity as anything new, but if you don't know much about it, then it feels like, if you're not looking into this stuff, then like, where do you start, right? Well, it's kind of ridiculous because I've been following this stuff my whole life, right? And there's a good XKCD comic. Let's see if the sound cuts out. I'm gonna make the same mistake I did 2 days ago. Oh no, it's still here. Okay, good. So asking aircraft designers about airplane safety, right? It's like, planes are the safest way to travel. Asking building engineers about elevator safety. Elevators are protected by multiple tried and tested fail-safe mechanisms. Asking software engineers about computerized voting. That's terrifying. Don't trust voting software, and don't listen to anyone who tells you it's safe. I don't quite know how to put this, but our entire field is bad at what we do, and if you rely on us, everyone will die. It's a nice, light-hearted computer engineering joke expressing the dark heart of existential terror that lies at looking at a world where people who don't understand computers have lots of misplaced beliefs that they do because they know how to manipulate an interface. Whereas people who are like, this stuff is always a work in progress, we need to be able to keep an eye on it, tend to, not make a lot of money. Yeah. So, listen, I've been working a lot on the human element, counter the whole post-human thing. Let's see how long. This video's about 7 minutes long so far. So I'm going to keep making videos. Check out my website, clintonthegeek.com. More great content coming on the way. But, chill out, Elon Musk. We got this. There's a new book coming out soon. Team Human by Douglas Rushkoff. I'm really excited for that one. Yeah, man. We got this. It's all good. So until next time, take care.